So today we're going to use the quadratic formula to find the solutions to our quadratic equations. What I like about the quadratic formula is it works every time. Not everything is factorable, so you can't factor everyone, but you can always use the quadratic formula. And believe me, it's much easier if you memorize the formula. So let's take a look. So the first thing we need to do is we need to have this equation equals 0. Before we can use a quadratic formula, our equation has to equal 0. We need ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. All right, so that's the first thing we have to do. So we're going to move everything over. I've got a positive 3x. I'm going to bring it over here. Since it's positive on the right, it's going to be minus on the left. And then I'm going to take this negative 10 and I'm going to move it over here. Since it's negative on the right, it's going to be positive on the left. So let's go ahead and get that first. So I've got x squared. 2x's take away 3x's gives me negative 1x. And then 10 plus 1 is 11. And that equals 0 because these are gone now. So now I have it equaling 0. That's a good thing. The next thing I like to do is find the discriminant. The discriminant is what you see under the square root in the formula, the b squared minus 4ac. So we're going to do that next. B squared minus 4ac. So we need to figure out what a, b, and c are. So a is our number in front of the x squared. If there's nothing there, it's understood to be a 1. B is our number in front of the x, and that is negative 1. And c is a constant, the number without a variable. So we've got a, b, and c. So the discriminant tells us to do b squared minus 4ac. So I have negative 1 squared minus 4 times a times c. When I do that, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. When you square a negative, you should always get a positive. Now, there's only one minus sign, so I'm going to bring that down. And then I got 4 times 1 times 11. That's 44. When I subtract that, I get negative 43. So that's my discriminant. Now we need to put that into our quadratic formula. So we're going to go here. I'm going to make some more room here. I'm going to actually write the quadratic formula here. Minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, move this down a little more. We already know what b squared minus 4ac is because we found it. So we can just replace that with negative 43. So I've got negative b. That's this part of the formula. So I got a minus. I'm going to bring down that minus, and I'm going to go up and see what b is. B is also negative 1. So we have a double negative there. There's a negative in the formula, and b is negative. Then we got plus or minus the square root of negative 43 all over 2 times a, and a is 1. Now, that double negative makes a positive, so we've got 1 plus or minus. Now, from other math classes, you may have learned this or you may not have. When you have the square root of a negative number, put an I outside, and now your number is positive. I explained that in another video. So if you have a negative underneath the square root, just put an I on the outside, and now it's positive there. Okay? And that's over 2 times 1, which is 2. And we're just going to leave our answer like this. All right? So let's do one more like this. Right away, when I look at this next equation, the first thing I'm asking myself, is it equal to 0? When I look at this equation, no, it's not equal to 0. We need to make it equal 0. So we need to bring that 3x over. And we need to bring this over. So I have 2x squared. Oops, I gotta write that a little neater. I have 2x squared. I'm going to bring that positive 3x over. So when I bring it over, it's a negative 3x. And when I bring that positive 5 over, that's a negative 5. So I've got negative 15 and negative 5, which is negative 20. And now it equals 0. So just to make sure you see that, let me get a different color. I subtracted 3x from both sides, like I did there, and I subtracted 5 from both sides. It was a positive 5, so to bring it to the other side, I have to subtract it. It was a positive 3x, so to bring it to the other side, I have to subtract it. Okay, these cancel now, we get 0. So now I've got it equal to 0. I can determine what A, B, and C are. A is the number in front of the x squared. B is the number in front of the x. And C is your constant. It's the number by itself. So let's first find the discriminant. I think that helps a little bit. If it doesn't, you can do it all at once. I just prefer to do the discriminant first. So we've got b squared minus 4ac. And b is negative 3, so I've got negative 3 squared minus 4 times a is 2, times c, which is negative 20. Now, negative 3 squared is 9. And if you watch my video on discriminants, the next thing after you square b, right after that, count how many negative signs you have. The only time you're going to put a plus here is if there's 2 negative signs, and a negative and a minus are the same thing, so we're going to put a plus there. Now, 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 20 is 160. So when I add those, I get 169. So that's what goes underneath the square root. So now when we use our formula, we have our formula here, b squared, or excuse me, I'm going ahead of myself there. Let me rewrite that for you. Where's my little eraser here? Sorry about that. I'm going to do minus b. So we have minus b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. When we do this, we already got the b squared minus 4ac. So we're going to do b is negative 3. So we're going to do a negative because that's that negative. And then b is negative 3. Oops, I don't like that 3. We're going to fix that. Plus or minus the square root. Well, we already found this to be 169. And that's over 2 times a, and we found a to be 2. So when we do this, we got that double negative here, which makes a positive. The square root of 169 is 13, and 2 times 2 is 4. Now, another way to write this, because we got to look at what that plus and minus is. We didn't really look at that in the last one, but we're going to look at it now. We are going to have 3 plus 13 over 4 and 3 minus 13 over 4. That's what that plus or minus means there in the middle. Okay, so when I look at this, that means plus and minus. So we got to do them both. So now we're going to go underneath there, and we're going to go ahead and write 3 plus 13 is 16 over 4. And then 3 minus 13 is negative 10 over 4. And if you take 16 divided by 4, you get 4. And the 10 over 4, the negative 10 over 4, we can reduce that by 2 on the top and bottom. So we get negative 5 over 2, or 2.5, negative 2.5. So what these answers tell you, if you were to graph this quadratic equation, your parabola would cross the x-axis at 4 and negative 2.5. We learned right here from the discriminant that we have to have two real answers. And that's what we got there. We got two real answers. When we did the other problem, we got a negative 43 here. That means we're getting imaginary answers, which is what we got. That's what that I tells us. The answers are imaginary. All right. I hope that works for you. I know it's a lot there. When I get a chance here, I'm going to do a couple more problems like this for you. Hope this helps. Have an awesome day.